Wednesday, and it's Mansfield today, and time to look at matters medical. And once again, joined by our resident GP, Dr. Vicky Skitter. Hello, Doc. Nice to have you in the studio again.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Talking about retirement villages.
Yeah.
Now, I know neither of us look old enough, but we both have parents who are in retirement villages.
I remember my mom was, I think, 65 when her husband told her that it's time to move into an old age home. She almost had a heart attack. Like, no, I'm not doing that. So old age home is such a horrible name. So I think retirement village is so much better.
Yeah.
And especially if they have frail care. So my mom actually broke her ankle badly in the beginning of the year, and it was hard for her husband to look after her when she came out of hospital. So she stayed in frail care for a few days, and that was so helpful. You know, they showed her how to bath, how to walk on the crutches, and that was awesome because I couldn't be there, and that really helped a lot. So I thought, let's chat about that a bit because it's a common thing.
Yeah, well, funny you say that. My mom had a fall off a few weeks ago now, and fractured her hip. And she's in a retirement village down in Port Alfred, and she had to was taken through by ambulance to Port Elizabeth, where there was a doctor who could perform elective surgery on her because of her age. She's 95, because of her age and her situation. And she came out of hospital and then went into a step-down facility. But is now back at her retirement village. But because of her condition, she is also in frail care as well for the moment. It does, and you know what? It gives children peace of mind. And let's bring Elise in here at this stage, because Elise Porter is the managing director of Evergreen Health. Elise, thank you very much for taking time out to join us on this particular topic. Dr. Vicky was just saying that her mother nearly freaked when her father said at the age of 65, we need to move into an old age home. But at what sort of age do you think people should start looking at retirement villages and looking at moving into them?
You know what? To come to your question or your statement first, Jeremy, we've moved away from the name old age home. It sounds so, I don't know, old age, you know. We've moved to the term lifestyle villages, where people that retires experience a lifestyle in the community. And I would say start looking in your 60s and move into your 70s, but start doing your homework while you're still a couple in your 60s.
Yeah, I think that's probably important because I know my parents moved into their particular village when they were in their late 50s.
Oh, okay.
And when my father passed away a few years ago, as difficult as it was for my mom, because they'd been together for so many years, she had the support structure around her. She had her friends there. She still knew on a Monday it's Bible study. On a Friday evening, she goes down to the little pub and goes and has one glass of wine or whatever. You know, so there is that continuity that is there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, the community is in big support. There's, you know, your typical lifestyle village is lounges, restaurants, getting together certain nights of the week, during the day, having meetings, and very big involvement of the community, of the residents living in the retirement village is the newest trend with huge success.
Tell me, Elise, do most retirement villages have frail care facilities? Yeah.
Vicky, this is where you have to start doing your homework, because there's so many retirement villages in South Africa that do not have the medical facilities of a frail care, because it comes more than just a frail care. It is what you can offer your services at Evergreen. We go from lifestyle to the independent, you know, having medical services for them. Then we move to assisted living. Assisted living is where you need some kind of medical intervention, and then you move to frail care. Not only frail care, but also your step down, your subacute facility in the frail care for short-term residents, as well as you also look at convalescent care or respite care, might be for a day, short-term care. So it's a big involvement, and there is many frail cares or retirement villages in South Africa that does not have all that medical entities. And I think people, that is the most important thing, that when you do your groundwork in searching for a care center or a retirement village, that your medical facilities is your most important to have.
I would imagine that you also need to start looking at the other facilities that are available outside the medical one. I know that, for example, when my mom was not that well for a while, it was very easy for us to arrange that the restaurant at the facility would deliver meals to her on a daily basis, so she didn't have to worry about that.
Absolutely, Jeremy. We do meals, breakfast, lunch, supper. Some villages have facilities where we take food to people. Maybe you feel under the weather today and you can't cook for yourself, and then also to the independent living, so it's all for convenience and for looking after sick people, eating. The food is there. Not only the food, I'm talking maintenance. We take all kinds of services to your home in the independent living style, at your house, in your unit, or in your flat, apartment. We can do basically everything in looking after you comprehensively.
That's nice.
Yeah.
And the other thing is I keep harping on about the frail care center, but do you always have a doctor available or on call or something?
Yes. Part of the multidisciplinary team, as always in your primary health care, your doctor is always the chief in charge. The nurses work according to the doctor's orders, treatment plans that they want, especially when you deal with illnesses like dementia. It's very important that we have psychiatrists, big involvement, looking after the cognitive impairment in patients. We work out programs, but a doctor is always in charge. Like yourself, Vicky, you are our resident doctor. You know what we do here. You give the orders, and we do what is needed from a medical side, from the medication side, the treatment of patients or residents, not only in the frail care, but also in the village and assisted living or people. It's a convenience of people coming from the village and seeing the doctor on site, which is also big in demand.
I suppose as well, I'm not supposing here because I know it personally, and Vicky, I'm sure you would back me up on this. Knowing that your parents are in a facility, or parent is in a facility where they are cared for, and if there is a crisis, they can be handled immediately and within the right way. Yeah. I think from a family point of view, it's a huge relief of what could be a very stressful situation.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I've got daily examples of family members living overseas, and you give them that peace of mind that should any medical service be needed, that you can contact us and we will arrange everything from a physio to a speech to whatever the problem might be, or even hospitalization. You know, we work very closely with the hospitals, with the doctors, with the surgeons, planning treatment plans, planning care. So it's a huge relief for family members. It's not always an easy thing for a family member to deal with once a parent has decided, especially to go to frail care, or when they have to make the decision to place the person in frail care facility. So there's a lot of counseling involved there, but if once they see the services that you offer and that you can really practice what you preach, you know, it is a big relief. You know, everybody can carry on with their lives, and it is huge.
So obviously you have patients that stay in frail care for a long time. That's not necessarily going to come out of frail care. What can you tell the patients' family members? What could they do to improve the outcome or to help out in your mind? I mean, what would you suggest?
Vicky, it all boils down back to when you plan the care. That is why your groundwork is so important, because you don't want that reverse role in deciding for your parents where to go should something happen. So then normally it works like that, because people do not investigate this. Not all people, but there's many people who do not investigate retirement villages beforehand. So once a person, say for long-term care, ends up in a care center, family support is so important. I can't stress it enough. But you first have to start working on the family for them to understand, because they do not understand, the children do not understand that reverse role, that all of a sudden they have to make the decision for the patient, for their parent. So once they grasp that idea, and that is where the social worker as well as the doctor comes in very, very strongly. So once they grasp that idea, they move on to supporting their parents through telephone calls, you know, visitation, come and see them, take them out on weekends, come and see them, don't lose contact. And then also during this COVID time, we've especially experienced, we've set up video calls, Zoom calls for patients in the care center, etc. So their involvement is still very, very important, and not to just leave a person to, you know, carry on with your life. Be involved with your parents' treatment.
Elise, thank you very much for joining us on Mansfield today and giving us a little bit of insight into this whole concept of another stage of everyone's life. Thank you. Elise Porter, who's the Managing Director of Evergreen Health right here on Mansfield today. Dr. Vicky, thank you as well.
Pleasure, Jeremy. Nice to be here.
And who knows what you're going to throw at us next?
Nervous laugh.
That's it from us here, the whole team of Mansfield today. We'll catch up with you once again tomorrow. Until then, bye-bye.